What's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. So let me go ahead and get into this video here, because I think a lot of you guys are going to enjoy this particular video here. So let me get into it. Now, as y'all know, Stephen A. Smith is probably the biggest voice in corporate sports media. Probably the biggest voice. He is the face of the biggest sports media company in the world, or at least in the United States, in ESPN, and he's certainly paid like it, right, to be the face of ESPN. As y'all also fully aware, Stephen A. Smith can be extremely polarizing at times because of some of the things that he says from time to time. Sometimes he can say some interesting things. Sometimes he can say things that are highly offensive to various groups of people. But however, certain times he can be extremely insightful. And there was a particular prediction he made a few years ago, or certainly at least a year ago, that a lot of us scoffed at, including me, that may be coming to fruition after all. So before I even go too far, I want to play what Stephen A. Smith had to say, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to some of the things that Stephen A. Smith had to say here, and then we'll come back and react to it. Take a listen to that.
Do you think KD should regret leaving Steph and the Warriors?
Yes. And I believe that because of the selection he has made. It's not that he left Golden State. It's what he left Golden State for. I believe from a business perspective, no matter how much his brand may be worth, it is nothing compared to what it would have been worth if he were a New York Knick. I think the level of support that he would have had with that brand would have at least doubled, potentially tripled the value of the KD brand. That's number one. But the biggest thing, and I've said this before, Doggy, and I don't know if you've heard me say this, so I'll say this with you on the air. I got a lot of love and respect for Kevin Durant. I've gotten to know him a little bit over the years, and I respect the hell out of him, and we all know how I feel about Mama Durant. And he's a two-time champion, the two-time NBA Finals MVP, and one of the greatest players that has ever graced this game. And people get on him about his sensitivity because he'll clap back at people on Twitter and all of that other stuff. Well, I see that in reverse. Although I wouldn't advise him to comment about everything everybody says, I love the fact that he is the one, Doggy, that would respond to you rather than sending a hanger-on or somebody else to do it for him. If he has an issue with you, he's man enough to address it with you. And I respect the hell out of him for that. And I'm very, very fond of him. Having said all of that, there is no way around it. If the Golden State Warriors advance to the finals, if it's not happening already, Doggy, if the Golden State Warriors advance to the finals, I have been on the record, Doggy, saying, unfortunately and totally unfair to him, people will remember him more as being the dude who left Steph Curry for Kyrie Irving than they'll remember the championships. Because that's how idiotic that move appears to be as of right now, because of how unreliable Kyrie Irving has been. Kyrie Irving taking time off. Kyrie Irving get injured. Kyrie Irving taking his positions politically and otherwise, being distracted from the game of basketball. Kyrie Irving, the vaccine mandate, and 98% of the league, 99% of the league gets vaccinated. But Kyrie's going to hold firm. Yeah, all of that's fine. Individually speaking, perfectly his right. But it left Kevin Durant hanging because Kevin Durant was the one left holding the bag, having to hold down the Brooklyn franchise on his back, knowing that he would need that help. That's a decision KD made because KD insisted to the Brooklyn Nets, I want to be here with Kyrie Irving. That's why the Brooklyn Nets took Kyrie Irving to begin with, because they knew they couldn't get KD without Kyrie. So the fact that that decision was made, that's why there should be regret leaving Golden State. You had a structured environment where all you had to do was ball, which is all he wants to do during basketball season. He just wants to ball. He don't want no drama. He don't want no nonsense. All he wants to do is ball. And you were able to do that in Golden State. Everything evolved around basketball. Here in Brooklyn, because of who his teammate is and who his road dog is, his buddy, the fact is, it's far more than that. And it's a distraction. And as a result, he has paid for it. He's been in Brooklyn. They've got one playoff series win on their resume. Golden State may be going back to the finals.
Now, what you just heard him say is something that he has been saying for a very long time. And I was one of the few people out there that said, that came out and said, when Stephen A. Smith said that he was trying to push agendas, that there's no way in hell, for as great as Kevin Durant is, for all of the things that he's accomplished in the NBA, that would be the thing that he would be remembered for. But it looks as if I may have been wrong about that from Jump Street, because as we currently speak, depending on when you see this video, the Golden State Warriors are heading back to the NBA Finals, and the Nets are at home watching the playoffs after getting swept in the first round by the Boston Celtics. Now, here is my biggest takeaway from all of this. I think the lesson here is this: don't waste a second of your time listening to people put pressure on you to do things they want you to do. No one knows what's best for you like you do once you reach a certain age as an adult. The simple reality is this: all people can do is advise you. That is all that they can do. But it is up to you to decide whether or not you're going to listen to that advice and take it, or do what you think is best for you. Give you guys a practical application of what I'm talking about. I'll give you guys an example right here. We get hundreds of comments daily on our channel, and we appreciate all of them. And out of all of these comments, sometimes we get suggestions from people telling us what they think we should produce, what we shouldn't produce. Don't make this. You should be making that. You should be making this. You should be making that. Now, people have a right to say what they want and what they believe. However, it is up to us to take their advice or not. The fact of the matter is this: we know what works best for our channel, not them. Period. End of story. We know what works best. We've produced over 1,300 videos. We have extensive data that tells us the type of content that works for our channel. So it would be foolish for us to sit here and be influenced by what 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, or 20 people think we should do. That's ridiculous. It means that we're influenced too easy, and it's childlike to allow people to influence you to that level, especially people you don't know and people that don't know what it takes to for you to be successful. Period. End of story. And I think that is what KD did. He originally joined the Warriors because he wanted to win championships and be with an organization that played basketball the right way. Originally, that is what he wanted to do. But what ended up happening? He went there, he won his championships, and he won his finals MVP. But then he started to listen to the outside noise, and he allowed people that don't know him from anywhere to influence him. That's what happened. People who don't know what it takes to win a championship, who don't know what goes into playing basketball correctly, to influence him. Imagine if he didn't watch TV or pay attention to Twitter. Imagine the decisions he would have made. And it reminds me of my favorite player, Kawhi Leonard, of something that happened, I believe it was last season, when the team was under a lot of criticism. And they asked Kawhi Leonard post-game or something like that. He's like, Kawhi, have you been, people have been criticizing you and this and this and this and this and this and saying all of these things about you. And he goes, oh, really? I didn't even know people were criticizing me. And I think it was something that had to do on ESPN first. And when Stephen A. Smith heard that, because Stephen A. Smith was one of the guys criticizing him, Stephen A. Smith looked so hurt. He was like, because Kawhi was like, oh, I had no idea people were criticizing me. What's the moral of the story? Kawhi wasn't even paying attention to it. Because what people say has no effect on your job. These are just opinions and voices. That's all it is. People can say you're great. They can say you're stupid. They can say you're ugly. They can say you're beautiful. It's irrelevant to the work that you have to do. And I think in all of this, KD listened to these people. He listened to them. And he had no business listening to them because it's irrelevant what they think. You know why? Because there's some people that call that the weakest move in the NBA are now the people that are saying you should have regret. People are going to say whatever they think about you. The mistake is when you internalize these things and start listening to people, especially opinions that are not valid. There's a guy I listened to. There's a book I read, Ray Dalio, Principles. If you guys ever had the energy to read a book, it's a very long book, but it's a great book. And he spoke about them being in meetings, right, and being in these board meetings, and whenever they were trying to solve problems or whatever it is, that he would weigh the opinions of those that actually had expertise and experience with the particular matter they were talking about higher than those people who just simply had an opinion but had no experience or expertise on the matter. He would weigh those opinions with a grain. He would pay no attention to those opinions. Why? Because these guys don't have the expertise. But guys that actually know what the hell they're talking about and have the experience, he would listen to them. What a fantastic policy to use. Hence the name of the book called Principles for Life and Business.